The Albert Bridge in London is an oddity. It is a distinctive Victorian gothic design and is a Grade 2 star listed structure. But it was nicknamed the Trembling Lady as it moved when walked on. It even has similar issues to the wobbly Millennium Bridge over a century later. It has the only toll booths that remain on a London bridge, though they haven't been used since 1879. And it is one of only 2 London bridges not to have been rebuilt, the other being Tower Bridge, despite having numerous issues. This video is about the bridge and how it has changed over the years. Please stay until the end to see all the detail. I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Brought to you by Eclectic Experience. Change seen through images. The Albert Bridge, seen here on a modern map. And then, if we go back in time, this is from 1865, before it was built, where we can see the roads running up to where it will be. And then, this is from 1893, after it opened in 1873. It can be found just along the River Thames from Battersea Power Station and next to the large Battersea Park. It is in between Chelsea Bridge and Battersea Bridge. This is the most recent Chelsea Bridge, built in 1937, replacing the previous one of 1858. Just comparing this with Albert Bridge, we can see how much more detailing there is in the design and how much more ornate the towers are compared to the Chelsea one. And a totally different design to Battersea Bridge, built in 1885 and replacing an earlier one from 1772. Most bridges in London have been rebuilt at least once since opening. London Bridge, to take an extreme example, has been rebuilt a few times and probably even had a predecessor in Roman times. The current London Bridge is very recent in comparison. It dates only from 1973. The Albert Bridge, however, was only built once. It is really quite incredible that this bridge has survived, as it simply did not work properly and has had to undergo several major refurbishments, including one only 6 years after it opened, and the most recent only just over 10 years ago. In fact, after World War II, it was lucky to survive, as there were proposals for demolition and replacement, as it was in such poor condition and could not cope well with motor transport. I actually captured the most recent refurbishment in 2010-11. And what I was really surprised by was looking between the scaffolding poles and seeing that the road element of the bridge was actually made of wooden sections rather than concrete. The wood all had to be replaced, as had been the case in all previous refurbishments, though incredibly, in this case the deterioration was actually blamed on dog urine. Going back to the opening, the original design simply did not work. It opened in 1873 and immediately had problems. The bridge in fact moved when large numbers of pedestrians walked on it, in a very similar way to the Millennium Bridge when it first opened in 2000. That had to be shut after 2 days. I've done another video on the Millennium Bridge, link at the end if it'd be of interest. The Albert Bridge actually got the nickname the Trembling Lady from this movement, and this fairly famous sign needed to be added for when troops from Chelsea Barracks went to cross. This sign's on both sides of the bridge and always draws attention from passers-by. The design has actually been significantly updated twice since opening. Between 1884 and 1887, it was changed to include some extra design elements of a suspension bridge. This was not sufficient. So after being plagued by problems for nearly a century, in 1973, concrete beams were added on a new pier. So it actually incorporates 3 different design styles in one bridge. If we look back at the 1961 bridge picture, and then again in 2023, we can actually see the addition of the extra set of piers in the middle of the bridge, and these support the extra concrete beams. And back to 1961, and we can see where the piers were added. There are still issues, so car traffic measures are in place, including a width restriction seen here at the start of the bridge. There's one of these on both sides. During the 2010-11 refurbishment, the bridge was actually found to be in a far worse state than initially thought, so ended up being closed for 22 months to complete the repairs. If we move on, interestingly, all 4 toll booths were repaired and repainted as part of this refurbishment and are definitely a focal point when walking over the bridge. It's quite amazing they survived, given they weren't used for collecting tolls after 1879 and the building was not listed until the late 20th century. So they just survived as a curiosity. On the Chelsea Bridge side, there's also a Grade 2 K2 phone box. And if we now move on to the colour scheme, although we can't tell it from the black and white photo, the bridge, I understand, was painted green until 1981, then yellow, but from 1992 we have the current scheme, along with a whole load of lighting, and this was to make it more visible to boat traffic, with the lighting scheme being updated to LED in 2010-11. And the bridge certainly stands out with its ornate iron towers, unique paint scheme, and it's well worth a look. It is a unique feature on the River Thames. Looking at the black and white photo from 1961, one of the biggest changes hasn't been the bridge itself, but the landscape that surrounds it. The pier in the foreground is still there, but looking past the bridge at the Hovis sign, the whole of the south bank was industrial. Well, if we look at a similar view now, it isn't anymore. It is almost all residential. Quite a change. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please click for alerts for future videos and like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience. Change seen through images.